Studio live on Monday, August 2nd at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. You can always find me here unless it's a holiday or I'm out of town. Last week I was out of town, but I'm back, and I just like to have this time to share what I'm working on and answer any questions that you might have. So let me just kind of give you a recap about what is going on with me and Collage Quilter. I have lots of really fun, exciting news to share with you. So this is also kind of the place where you'll get inside information about what's upcoming and what I'm working on and kind of what I'm thinking. And as I see people are joining, will you please, if you would like to join me in the chat so that I can see who's here, and let me know if you have any questions about a project that you are working on, or if there's anything in particular that you'd like me to focus on in this live video. So just real quick, I've got some exciting stuff. So my Midway Retreat, Retreat 2022 is booked. I'm super ecstatic about that and a little surprised. And there is a waiting list. I do expect that there will be some turnover and whatnot. So if you're interested in joining me, you can still sign up on the wait list. Good morning, Viv. Good morning, Mary. I'm glad to have, well, I guess it's the afternoon for Mary at least, because she's in Maryland. So anyway, thanks for being here. So that's the latest with the retreat. We're booked for that. I'm super excited about that. I do also want to mention if you want to join me in any upcoming events, I do have an events page on my website. It's just on the tab. So at collagequilter.com, you can check out the events where I'm teaching, and both online, virtual, and in person where I'm teaching. Hi, Pat from Georgia. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so that is events. A little bit of more information about what's going on with Collage Quilter. We have just added a whole bunch of new products because we would really like for collagequilter.com to be the destination of your choice for information, education, supplies, and patterns. So we now have irons and pressing mats. Hi, Jan, welcome. We have irons, pressing mats, and very soon we will have more fabric bundles. So we're working on those still. And what else do we have that's new there? Anything that you might need is now under supplies. Welcome, Barbara. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you from Arizona. Okay, so the other thing that's kind of exciting is I have finally figured out the direction for my critters. And I've got, hi, Sophie, how are you? So Sophie just asked a question. Sophie, I'll get to your question in just a minute after kind of the announcements. Hi, Helena from Italy. Helena, you'll have to tell me where in Italy you are. I am just booking hotels. I'm planning on a week-long trip in Italy in late September with my husband. So anyway, coming to your neck of the woods, not to teach, but just for a fun visit. So I wanted to give you an update about what I'm working on, and always love your input. I do a lot of stream of consciousness talking while I'm on this live video, and it kind of helps me to crystallize what is happening. But I'm working on, as you know, the second edition of my original book, which is kind of the foundation for, well, essentials for success. And I have decided on the patterns that will be in there. Number one, you can see Art and Bloom back there that I'm working on is in the book. It's also available as a foundation pattern. The landscape will be in the book again, but then I've got a couple new patterns that will be there. Number one is the parrots. So you've seen the one original parrot, and now here's his twin that I'm working on. So let me back up so you can see that. Okay, so parchment pressing, I'll be talking about parchment pressing in that book. So I will be finishing this bird up this week, and let me show you the other bird. Let me grab this just a second. Okay, so here's the original parrot. He is all ready to be quilted. So I've got this basted, and I'll be quilting this. So these two parrots will be in the new book. I'm kind of excited about them. Ta-da! So anyway, okay, that's that. And then of course the tea party project. So we've been taking a lot of pictures, a lot of photography, and I'll just kind of give you a sneak peek about what we were working on. So I'm going to be, this is going to be a pieced project with just wonky blocks, and the color scheme is different than what I've used before, but I'm kind of excited about it because it's different. So these are a few examples of the wonky blocks that are going in that, and then they'll have the teacups and whatnot on top of the blocks. So I'm kind of having fun with that. And I think you saw me probably last week. Here's some of the most, some of the teapots. They're kind of fun. I really like this parchment pressing technique because I can, when I am finished with one of my elements, as I call it, I can leave it on the parchment paper. I can cut around the parchment paper, and then it provides, it protects that steam so that I can kind of place it and make sure the colors are going to work. And then when I'm all ready, I can peel it off and apply it to the quilt. So that's the direction that I'm going with the tea party quilt. And it's kind of just really fun and feminine, and I don't know, retro colors. They're kind of softer colors than what I normally use. So anyway, that's what's happening with the original book. Those will be the new patterns in the original book, and I am working hard to get that done. I've been working on that for many weeks now, and I'm not going to give myself a deadline because I just want to get it right. I want this book to just be gorgeous and beautiful and explain everything that I have learned in the last several years. So I originally started out, I wrote the book, and then I developed this new parchment pressing technique, and kind of understand now when it's a great way to use parchment pressing, when I'm still wanting to use the foundation panel technique. So I'll be talking a lot about that in the book. And then with my remember in the spring, maybe you remember in the spring, I was doing all these bugs and critters, and I was just having a blast. And I've been kind of stewing and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with those. And I have finally kind of crystallized my thoughts and ideas. And I haven't done anything more with that, but you can look forward to that book, which will be out. I'm hoping to get that out early next year. So anyway, I'm really excited about this. And then, of course, I love my job. I'll just tell you, I love my job. I love being able to be creative and push myself as an artist. And the other thing that I really want to do that's in the back of my head is that I want to do a tabletopper again that will be for fall, because I love Thanksgiving, I love fall, and I've really wanted to do a pheasant. So I want to do pheasant birds, and I want it to just be really lush and yummy. So that's also on the docket. Okay, so I want to just again say hello to my friends who've joined me. warms my heart. It's just amazing to me that you guys are so supportive. I really, really do appreciate you. And I feel like you have embraced me in this community, and we have a wonderful community, and I love it. So thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do what I love and to share with you what I'm doing. I want to now take your questions. So I'm going to just scroll down and ask questions. If you have questions, I will answer them now. So Sophie from Hungary said, do you still use your paint pencils? So what she's referring to are these Inktense pencils. And yes, I have a plan to use these, and that will be, I'll discuss that in the book as well about the Inktense pencils. So, and I don't have anything new right now that I've used with them, but very shortly I will, because I think I'm going to be using it on this, this foundation pattern panel back here. So I hope by next Monday, I'll be able to show you that finished project and the parrot. And if you have any questions about using the Inktense pencils, there is a video on YouTube that you can find at the Collage Quilter channel. Okay, so let's go and see. Hi, everybody. Susan from North Carolina. Great to have you. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce your name. From South Africa, Jagruti Bana, welcome. Glad to have you. Okay, let's see. So Viv just asked a question. Can we pre-order the book? Yes, I will make the book available to pre-order when I'm just a little bit closer, but it will be this month, I'm sure, because my goal is to have it out by September or in September. But again, remember I said I don't want to put pressure on myself, but I just did. I have to put pressure on myself. But yes, I will make the book available to pre-order when I am a little further along. So thank you for your interest. And another question that people have asked about the new book, the second edition, they've asked, well, what if we've already purchased your original book? I feel like this second book contains, number one, so much more information and new patterns. So I will, for my VIP customers, I will be giving you the option to pre-order it and probably give you a nice discount too. So anyway, stay tuned. I know who my VIPs are, those of you who've bought patterns from me and who follow me, who join me. So anyway, watch for that and I'll connect with you. Okay, so let's see, Pensacola, Florida. Oh, you're at your favorite quilt shop today. We would love to know what that is. What's your favorite quilt shop in Pensacola, Florida? Alicia from Moses Lake, Washington. I hope that the forest fires are abating a little bit here in Utah. Last night we had a great big thunderstorm move in, and it has just been drizzly, rainy. Oh, you guys, it hasn't rained here in months. And so I'm sure our storms are coming from the west. So hopefully you got the rain as well. Sherry said, I can't wait to make the teacup project. Me too. I'm excited for to do a quilt along in the Collage Quilter Academy Facebook group. We will have a quilt along coming up when I launch the book. So Barbara just asked a question. Emily, oh yes, I'm so excited. So Barbara said, Emily, can you give us a bite of what your plan is for the retreat? So my daughter and I could not be more excited about this retreat that will be coming up in June of 2022 in Midway, Utah. So my goal is to have the Critter book out by that point, as well as obviously this new book. But as far as just fun, we're going to start out with, we're going to do a meet and greet when you first get there, hors d'oeuvres, and a trunk show sort of thing. And then the next day we'll do a workshop and guided instruction. I want you to be able to work on whatever you want within limits, and I'll give you those parameters as we get a little bit closer. But I'll provide a catered lunch every day. And then that evening or that afternoon, we'll take a little break for those of you who want, and we're going to go up into the mountains and go on this guided nature walk. If you know me at all, you know that I love my mountains, and I love to hike and bike and ski. And I grew up here, so I know all the beautiful places, and I'm super excited to share that with you. But the other nice thing is in the retreat, our workshop room will be open for, it's going to be a big, beautiful room, and it will be open every night until 10 o'clock. So anybody that wants to work late, they can do that. And then we'll do the same thing the following day. And then that evening, I'm going to take you down to Robert Redford's resort, Sundance. So Sundance is down Provo Canyon, and that's the origin of the Sundance Film Festival. And it is just stunningly beautiful. It's exquisite. And there's a restaurant there called the Foundry Restaurant. That's a really, really nice, beautiful restaurant. So I'll be making reservations for all the attendees. And if you want to bring a spouse, we'll be doing that on Friday night. And then Saturday morning, we will be having, I think, lunch or breakfast. Things may change, but we'll work throughout that day and then do a show and tell that evening. So Barbara, I'm super excited to have you join me and everybody else that has put your deposit in and registered for the event. So we will be sending you more information as we progress along. Thank you, Jan, who said, love you. Love how much, love how much you love what you do. Oh, thanks. I really do feel privileged to do what I love. And I feel like I have paid the price. I've worked hard in my industry. I've had failures that have knocked me off my butt, and but I love what I do, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. So I wanted to also just mention, and I'll announce this on my Facebook page and in the Collage Quilter Academy Facebook group. So there's a friend of mine who's a fabric designer for Riley Blake Designs, and she's also Karina Gardner is in the industry, and she's been in the industry, the quilt industry, for a long time. And she has a new podcast and YouTube channel, and she's invited me to be her guest on this Wednesday. So I'll be chatting with Karina, and I'll send you details and links and stuff because I'd love to have you join us. And I'm excited to do that because Karina and I go way back to the days that I was designing fabric at Riley Blake Designs. And so I'm excited to catch up with her. Okay, so let's see. Dora just asked a really good question. She said, good morning from Littleton, Colorado. You are an inspiration. Thank you. I really am grateful for that. If I can do one thing, I would love to inspire your creativity and enthusiasm for the art that we all love. She asked, have you ever made a collage for a king size bed? So no, but my intention with probably this teacup quilt and maybe the critter quilt is to make a bed size quilt, or at least a big throw size quilt. I want to be able to use my artwork a little bit more, to use it as a quilt. So many times I make things just to hang on the walls, which is fun, but I want to incorporate this into bedding, or quilts that can be used to snuggle in. And I've already established that we can wash our collage quilts. There are some parameters that I recommend if you do intend to wash a quilt. So there's also a video and a blog post at Collage Quilter about washing quilts. So I have not made a king size bed quilt yet, but I will be going in that direction. Sherry, thank you. I love this blouse. It's kind of my quilt blouse because it is kind of a crazy pattern, and I just kind of love it. Thank you. Laurel from Saskatchewan. I love to say that. Okay, so our friend from Pensacola just gave us a really good recommendation. So if you are in Florida, she's at her favorite quilt shop right now, and she said it is called A&E Fabrics in Pensacola. So anyway, glad to have you, and shout out. She says that's a great quilt shop. So let's see here. Okay, let's keep going then. Yes, we'll be doing a quilt along, and so let me just show you what's on my board. Laurel asks what's on my board. Laurel, I assume that, so Barbara, wait a second. I just saw your comment, Barbara. You said you've always loved his catalog, his Sundance catalog. I do too. I love it. So Barbara, when you come into Salt Lake, there is a Sundance catalog outlet store, and it might be the only outlet store there is, but if you want information, I'll send you there so you can go there. They've got great deals. Okay, so back here on my board. So this is one of the patterns from my original book. This is called, we call it Art and Bloom. This is, it started out as a pattern in the book, and now it's a foundation pattern, a foundation panel pattern that's available on my website. And that's what you're looking at, is the foundation panel. So when I say foundation panel, what I mean is that it's one of my patterns that has the design printed in gray tones, and that guides fabric selection and fabric placement. And so I am doing another one for the book, so we can take some pictures of that coming up. So that's that. And oh, Dublin, Ireland, Liz, great to have you here. I really want to plan a trip. Okay, one other thing, you guys, I love to travel. You might have realized that. I just took my son and my nephew and my husband up to Glacier National Park. That's where we were last week. In next month, I'm taking my husband. So I plan these trips. We're going to go to Italy and to Europe, and I am turning I'm turning 50 next year. I'm turning 50. My son is turning 16, and my daughter is turning 21. So I'm like, this is kind of a big year next year in 2022. So I'm going to plan a big trip, and I'm looking at going to Ireland. And Barbara, yes, you can come with me. I would love to plan a trip. So anyway, okay, that's why I love to see where people are from, because I love to visit, and anyway, it's kind of fun. So let's just, if there are any other questions, I want to be sure that I answer your questions. I think I've answered everything that you've typed in so far. Let me just do a double check here, and let's see. Oh, Liz said you will love all the greens. You know I will, because green is my favorite color. So you'll have to help me plan my trip to Ireland next year. Maybe if I get there, if I can get good airfare, that's kind of the key. I know, Sherry, I'm with you. I love Italy and Europe as well. I'm super, super spoiled and blessed to have been able to go there. Snowdonia in North Wales is stunning if you like the mountains. Oh, I love the mountains. I'm a mountain girl. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else that has popped into my head. One more thing that I do that I probably haven't shared with you is that I collect books. I love to read, but I also collect quilt books. And I'll share with you just my most recent book. And one day, maybe next week, I'll pull out my stack of books and kind of do a book review. How about that? That would be kind of fun. Let's see. I know my latest book that just came, it just arrived, is this one. I haven't even cracked it open yet. Ali Aller's Crazy Quilting book. I'm really, boy, you know, the thing about quilting, the more I'm involved in this industry and dive into this craft, into this art, the more I love it, and the more I realize there's so much to learn. And I feel like I have just barely scratched the surface. You know, I've been a professional in the quilt industry for at least a decade, and yet there's still so much more for me to discover and learn. And I love to support other people in the industry. And so I like to buy books. So let's plan on doing a book review next week. What do you say at this thing? So I'll take a look at this one, but this was my most recent book. I'm anxious to go through this and read it and see what she has to teach us. And I will share it with you along with, I've probably bought another, I don't know, 4 books in the last couple of weeks. So I think that would be great. So Sophie, let me answer your question. She said, I cannot get Steam-a-Seam in Hungary. What is a good alternative? So here's one thing. If you're willing to pay for the shipping, I will ship to anywhere in the world. And I sell Steam-a-Seam, and I have a good heads up for you. Steam-a-Seam has now, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but Steam-a-Seam, I think they're recognizing that there are lots of collage quilters and lots of people that are using their product for what we do. And they are now offering their product in smaller rolls. So currently they only offer it in 5-pack sheets, which are 9 by 13 inch sheets, and there's 5 of them, or a gigantic roll. And they've just told me that they are now working on doing smaller rolls. So that will be a really good option for us collage quilters to be able to have a good amount of collage of Steam-a-Seam. So anyway, as soon as I can get my hands on those, I will be making those that size available on my website. Another kind of fun thing about that is that, like I said, I think I might have mentioned this, but some of my patterns will be featured on their packaging. So I'm kind of excited about that. So as far as a good alternative for Steam-a-Seam, you know, you can always use glue. Glue is a great adhesive, either tacky glue or permanent fabric glue. But as far as parchment pressing, if you're wanting to do the parchment pressing technique, the only thing that I know of is that Steam-a-Seam, because it's the only double-sided fusible web that also has that temporary stick. There are other double-sided fusible webs, but they don't have that temporary stick. And that's something that's kind of important, at least to me, as I've done the parchment pressing technique. But I will let you know if I can find something else that you might be able to use. Sophie, you might want to check around and see if there are other options for double-sided fusible web. That's what you're looking for, double-sided fusible web, or you can just use glue. And remember that I make the Steam-a-Seam available on my website. So anyway, okay. So that is that. If there are any other questions, I will answer them. Otherwise, it is coming up on 11:30, and I'm going to get back to work. So, okay, it doesn't look like any other questions. If you have any questions in the meantime, I just want to remind you that you can always find me here. I'll be here next week, and I think I'll do a book review of the recent quilt books that I've purchased. And if you have questions, it's a good time to ask your questions. Just a reminder too, that if you need help immediately, I think the best resource that I've created for you is the Collage Quilter Academy Facebook group. Not only am I in that group, but there are lots of other collage quilters who have made my patterns. And so that's a really supportive place to find answers, as is the Collage Quilter Facebook group. And then you can always email me Emily@collagequilter.com. So thank you again for joining me. It's great to see my friends here. And I will talk to you again soon. Sophie says, now I use Flies of Fix. Okay, I'll look into that for you. Okay, Sophie. All right. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful day and make the world a better place as you do, I'm sure. Okay.